Hit the fucking troll. Chuck, go Chuck. Look, man, I'll be honest. This game, it's really freaking fun, and I'm having a blast playing it. And I feel like the weapon, you can argue just this entire setup, but mainly this weapon that we're talking about today is one that really embodies what it means to be a legendary inside of Borderlands. This thing is hilarious, and if you actually build into its strengths, it can actually be pretty darn good. And in this video, we try to go ahead and give it a little bit of some love and have some fun, especially because this thing is a pretty dang good mobbing weapon. Its bossing could be a little bit to be desired, but that's why it has its good old buddy the Slippy to come in and help it out in those scenarios. And you have some pretty good survivability with this weapon as well. We're talking about the legendary Tediore manufactured assault rifle Chuck. Not the Chuck, just Chuck. It is exactly what this weapon's name says it does. You press the shoot button, it's gonna just throw it every single time. This weapon has 0 bullets, but the explosions from it do get buffed by gun damage. In case you were worried that gun damage bonuses just give it literally nothing, no, they do buff the explosion of this weapon. And to get the Tediore replicator passive, you're just going to essentially double its damage and stopping power. Well, okay, this weapon doesn't really have stopping power since you're just throwing it and exploding it, but you get the meaning of what I'm saying here, having 2 instead of 1, double the damage. Now, for a weapon that really does a good job of embracing the meme, the way to go about farming the dedicated drop source for this weapon is going to be the boss inside of the Crawlcroft Order Bunker in the Grindstone of the Worthy area of the Carcadia Burns right here on screen if you would like to go farm for it. Now, I'll be honest, when I first got this weapon, I was initially taking it as a joke, as it's just a weapon that you only throw. You shoot 0 bullets with this thing. Remember that, keep that in the back of your head, my man. But with a somewhat decent Rafa build that we went ahead and, I threw it together in like 15 minutes or so. I just respec into this weapon's strong suits. Not saying it's the most optimal skill tree, but it definitely did the job for this weapon to be pretty darn good and just keep us alive a lot. Like, we weren't really going down. Like, we had a lot of survivability with just how we were set up. Some free life steal from this bad boy. We was bulling. And for any real heavy hitters, yeah, that Slippy cameo making its appearance. This is definitely a playstyle that hits home for me as a Moe's fanatic back in BL3. This thing being as good as it is for what it's actually doing definitely resembles that same playstyle, even not being fully optimized for the setup as well. The Chuck and the Slippy definitely complement each other pretty darn well, to say the least. And yeah, you can definitely throw both of them at the same time. The Slippy, by the way, if you would like to farm its dedicated drop source, is either the fishing spot, which is this little pond over here, or you could farm Shadow Pelt, which I find this boss to be a little bit annoying. But you can find Shadow Pelt over here, and the Whistler's Maw abandoned Auger Mine over in the cuspid climb of the Terminus range. If you are a fan of Tediore weapons, or you know somebody who is a fan of Tediore weapons, this weapon is definitely for you. This weapon truly embodies the Tediore identity, as you don't even shoot a single bullet with this gun. You strictly throw it or chuck it. We do stream over on Twitch these days, twitch.tv/kree, and we have our side channel for this channel, the Mo channel, where we upload content that doesn't make it to this one. Both those links are going to be towards the top of the description. So let's go ahead and get some good tape to go to the majors, so we try and go pitch a perfect game in the Borderlands. Alright, beautiful people, we're here for the live play-by-play analysis of the Chuck, and a little bit of assistance from our good old Slippy. Now, I gotta be honest, this gun, it's honestly pretty fun. In this setup, it's like, I wouldn't call it like the best, but it's honestly very, very fun. And what it lacks for in, like, I guess you could say damage, it makes up for in survivability, as our Chuck is just gonna constantly heal us, which is very, very nice. And honestly, we're not even really having to use our Slippy, because this thing definitely excels the most in its mobbing potential. I wouldn't quite say so much for bossing. That's kind of what the Slippy is here for. Why we throw that bad boy. I'm sorry, bro. I love the fish slap. I love Slippy. And Chuck, I think, has got to be one of the most Borderlands weapons in all of Borderlands. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah. Chuck. Of course, they're going to have a Tediore legendary named Chuck. And luckily, we get to throw 3 of them at a time instead of just 2. That would be really cool if we could get one that would like allow it to like shoot as they're in the air. That would be pretty heat. I'm just gonna keep chucking because guess what? I don't even need the action skill up. We're still gonna survive even without it just because we got Chuck. This is what we do. Chuck. Yeet. Hey, where do you think you're going? Chuck. 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 Pop our action skill. Why not? Let's have some fun here. Oh yeah, a lot of enemies. See ya. Chuck. Oh yeah, vile enemies. Let me get a nice little kaboomski on him. Oh, you know, yeah, he can hold a slippy. He can hold a slippy. Now, we do have a nice ability to spawn a grenade occasionally, just by doing some damage, and do some crits rather, which is pretty heat. And after playing a lot of just like Bullet Hose Rafa, having an entire like switch up playthrough where we're just chucking and doing ordnance focus damage, it's honestly pretty hilarious. And I must be honest, it's pretty fun too. I like throwing stuff. I've always been a big fan of throwing nades. And yeah, we got the Berserker legendary class item on to allow us to have even another additional projectile or additional Tediore when we throw our Chuck, giving us 3 and helping us double our fish slap, our slippy damage. And then because you know what, why not? Let's go ahead and let's have a nice little boss fight against our homie right here. Because why the hell not? For the sake of it, we'll do it live. See if we get the best. Oh, get some good RNG here. If we get like multiple fishies or fish slaps to actually like land at his feet, we're chilling. That's not good because that hurts. Well, luckily for us though, we do get a nice ricochet. And see ya. Just keep throwing stuff. Chuck and throw. Chuck and throw. See ya. Very fun weapon, I must say. And honestly, if you spec into it, it's honestly not even that bad. Pretty dang good. Now once again, here is our Chuck itself, bad boy. Obviously the gun's gimmick. When you shoot it, it throws it. There is no bullets with this thing. It is only throwing, which is why it's called Chuck. And we like Chuck. It's actually pretty darn good. I can't even lie to you. This is our Slippy that we were rocking with here. Yes, obviously the fish slap did melee damage, so does this bad boy. It has a chance to crit. We're going to take that every time. We have the triple bypass here to kind of help this bad boy out. And then our Berserker, this is what if we really like to have. Whenever we throw a grenade or Tediore weapon, we're going to throw an additional one. In this weapon's case, 33% more damage just because, you know, another projectile. And so much for the Slippy because they spawn multiple whenever they explode. There's a lot of them. And then gun damage does buff the Chuck's explosion whenever you throw it. And then I don't have any really good Tediore enhancements at all. Honestly, I'm just kind of running this for the gun damage passive and the real big fist firmware. That gives us some extra melee damage, which helps the Slippy. Gun damage at least helps our Chuck. And then I just have a little heavyweight here for some extra melee damage, which will also help out our Slippy. Now, in terms of the skill tree for our Chuck here, we get some extra gun damage in the red tree, Jurga to help have our action skill up for longer, Maestro for extra increased damage on our Peacebreaker cannons. This is always really good, just, you know, raw extra damage dealt across the board. Confetti, I feel like is very good, but not really able to quite spec into it. But we have our Berserker that has 4 into it, which is very awesome. I don't know exactly the best, like, perfect spected for this type of build just yet. I kind of just threw this together when I got the Chuck for this video, and it performed very, decently, I would say. This is very nice because our indirect projectiles does include our thrown guns, so this just gives our Chuck lifesteal and just allows us to heal every time we throw our Chuck. W. This gives it extra bonus incendiary damage as well. Asymmetric warfare buffs our indirect projectiles, which buffs our Chuck. And then here we have a lot in the green tree. Some of this is for our Slippy. So for example, the melee damage helps the Slippy. The gun damage helps the Chuck from Handshake Deal. Diamond Hands, once again, the gun damage helps the Chuck. Overdrive skill just allows us to do more damage. If we're holding a different weapon out than the Chuck for our Slippy, that's different. Which is kind of what this is, a bit more so forward focused. But our Chuck still gets buffs from some good passives down here. Then we do have Booming Business to spawn a Slippy occasionally whenever we critically hit an enemy, which through Instant Tito is going to allow our Peacebreaker cannons to do a lot of critical hits. And once again, I wouldn't say this is a fully optimized build at all whatsoever. Kind of just threw this together real quick to have some fun with the Chuck for the video. And for the specialization, dog, we have literally nothing that is boosting our ordnance damage. We have some brute tilt gun damage to help the Chuck, but like nothing right here for the ordnance. Anyways, fellas, thank you so much for watching the video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the Chuck and the Slippy for that matter. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see your beautiful faces next one. Peace out.